Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I'm going to check out this video. It's talking about a reparations bill getting rejected in California. Um, I'm going to give my opinion on the about reparations at the end of the video, but for now, I don't think black people are going to get reparations or get what they think they deserve. But I'm going to let the video play, and I'm going to give my 1-2 about it.
Final night of California's legislative session. State lawmakers have until midnight tonight to pass proposed laws for the year. Ahead of the deadline, advocates for reparations for Black Californians have been protesting all day as lawmakers plan to block two key bills for that effort. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala is live at the state capitol right now with what's happening. Ashley?
That's right, Orko. This has been the big story mainly all day here. California's Legislative Black Caucus, which represents the black members of the state legislature, confirmed that lawmakers will not move forward with those two key proposals. The first, SB 1403, which would establish a state agency to oversee the state's reparations efforts. The other, SB 1331, that would establish a state fund for reparations. So the blocking of these bills has angered protesters who've been in the Capitol Rotunda all day, yelling at lawmakers in the assembly to bring the bills up for a vote. State Senator Stephen Bradford said Governor Newsom's office asked him to make changes to the bill that would establish the state agency and to instead turn it into a study of reparations recommendations by the University of California. Bradford would not accept the changes, and he says the Legislative Black Caucus is afraid of the veto. But the leader of the Legislative Black Caucus, Assemblymember Lori Wilson, denied this. Bradford told us, though, the bills have the votes.
We're at the finish line, and I think we as a Black Caucus owe it to the descendants of chattel slavery. We owe it to Black Californians and Black Americans to move this legislation forward and get it to the governor's desk.
Now, nothing is final until the gavel drops here at midnight, but it's unlikely that these bills will come up for a vote.
Well, that's the end of the video right there. And like I said earlier, in my opinion, black people are not getting reparations for a couple reasons. One of the reasons, for some reason, when I was looking at the video, I just kept looking at the gate when the people were in the rotunda area and how they wouldn't leave or whatever. But in my mind, I'm thinking metaphorically, even if so-called black people rose up and wanted to do something, they're going to keep you behind that mental gate where you can only go so far, and you're not going to quote unquote get what you deserve. So that's one thing that stuck out to me. You're not going to get what you deserve, even if they pay you out or whatever. It's still not worth what you think it is. You still just going to feel undervalued. You're still not going to feel like you got the same value. And another thing too, if you're in the land of your captivity or your bondage, and you expect your enemy to pay reparations, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to take it. And unfortunately, a lot of people, so-called black people, are not willing to do those type of things to take something back, which they feel like is owed to them. Another thing, these people that, some of these people that might sign these things in the legislation, or just some of the portions of the country might look at it like, oh, why don't you ask the Africans who, quote unquote, sold you initially for reparations? Why don't you do that? Because they started it. They can bring that argument up, And the final thing I'll say is, and hopefully some of the good men and the good women out there understand what I'm saying. The only reparations that you'll get and the only rest that you'll get is through turning back to the good book and turning back to the Most High, because that's how your real reparations are going to be repaid right there. Because when you follow his righteousness, you're going to be on a path of self-discovery, and you're going to turn back to your real culture of who you are. And all the good men and good women, I just hopefully that you hear me clearly. I understand, you feel like it's a debt to be paid, And you know what? We, so-called black men, black women, you know, or an intricate part of the country, no question. I'm not questioning any of that at all. I'm just saying you in the land of your captivity, your bondage, and you're asking your enemy to give you something. Only way you get something from your enemy is if you take it. But that's if somebody's on that type of time. I feel like some folks just are going to focus so much on it, they're just going to waste time, and they're just going to keep pushing, like the legislators or whatever type parties, they're just going to keep pushing it out and out. And then at the end, even if they give you something, it's going to be pennies of what you really deserve. So, that's my 1-2 about it. If you got an opinion about it or you want to give your little 1-2 about it, drop a comment. All right.